Campbell, we're live, I think.
Yeah, we are. 14 seconds in. Let's go.
A little bit of a lag on that one. Today, rest day 2. First of all, if you haven't already, check out the podcast we did with Caleb Ewan last night. We touch on his stage win, sprinting mentality, a little bit about Sagan, yada yada yada. How hard it's been again. He looked pretty nailed, Cambo.
Yeah, I think the last 2 days especially have taken it out of the sprinters. And it was a bit of a different feel to the first rest day. Just that extra week of racing in the legs at the Tour de France, and he was tired. But I guess they go again tonight. That's what it's all about.
He was a tired boy. Today so we don't have a stage to talk about because there was nothing on last night, obviously. But we're going to run through each team and give them a rating out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try and keep it as swift as possible, but I imagine we're going to get a little bit bogged down on a few
This is going to be an hour and a half.
It'd be great for those that are listening. They can chip in with their scores, tell us if we're off the mark or not. So I guess, do you want to take us away, Albie? Are you going on the Pro Cycling Stats start list team sheet across like that?
I've got this, yeah. Is that what you're doing? 1, 2, 3, 4?
So the first couple will look like Ineos, Jumbo, Bora.
Yep. We're on the same page.
Copy.
Ineos.
Expectation for them was to win. I think podium
awfully high
was a minimum for them. And on the second rest day, they're sitting 13th on GC. So not looking like getting anywhere near that sort of expectation that we set. So off the bat, I'm going with a big clip. I'm giving him a 3.2, a 3.2.
We're going to points.
Rounded scores are rookie scores. So we're going to go to decimal points if you fancy. You can go rookie scores if you like.
I've just gone flat numbers.
That's fair. Anyway, 3.2, I think. Of course, GC was all they were coming here for, and it's gone pear-shaped. So right now, it's been a disaster for them. Would you concur?
Yeah, I gave them a 3.
Yeah,
3 out of 10. They only earned 3 points because they were in contention for the first 14 days.
Yeah,
and they're around the mark, and now put in a couple of tacks.
But that's not what we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah. 3. Jumbo Visma. Jumbo Visma, talk to me.
Expectation was to win the Tour de France or podium, with a couple of stage wins perhaps thrown in there. So far, rest day 2, 3 stages, yellow jersey, strongest team, multiple stage winners, and I'm going to go 10.
Good.
10.
Good.
I mean, could have they had a better tour so far? Maybe Roglic winning another stage, but I think if we're going to be going after them that hard, then we're wasting our time. They've been incredible. Thanks, Tom.
I gave them an 11. I wasn't sure if we could go to 11, but I gave them 11 purely because you expected them to be in the position they're in, as in like a big tick is in the position they're in. So they're bagged some stages, Roglic in yellow, but the dominance of the team, especially when we saw them going up stage, what are we up to? Stage 15, when they're going up that final climb. And there's so many riders there. That's out of control.
Yeah,
that's where they got the extra point from.
Mm-hmm.
Bora.
Tom McFarlane knows on the comments.
Yeah, he's all right.
Bora. Well, expectations for them was green jersey, possibly a top 10 on the general too. They had Bookman, who was 4th in this race last year, and you'd probably throw in a stage win minimum as well. On top of that, they've been mighty close, but that doesn't count for anything in this sport. So I've given them a 5-1. They've been they've been in this bike race, like they've been super, super active. But I think for a team that has a guy like Peter Sagan, Schachmann, Bookman, Oss, like it's a big team. They haven't delivered yet. They can turn it around by Paris, but if the race was to stop right now, I think they'd probably come in at a 5-1.
I've given them a 6, just a notch up. I think
why have you bumped them up that?
Their efforts to put Sagan in the position to win have been class A.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they were unlucky on the GC front with Schachmann coming in slightly injured. Bookman, sorry, and so I think that's where that is. But they made up for it in their presence on the race. The reason that they're not at the 10 is because Sagan hasn't converted. If he was in green, he'd bagged a stage, which he could have if he hadn't got not boxed in, but Wood Van Aert came in front of him and he hip and shouldered him instead of trying to hit the gap, as we were talking about in the podcast last night. I think could have been on par, if not in front of par. But from a team perspective, good energy.
You're sounding a little bit like a bottom sort of the table AFL coach. Oh, look, great energy. Boys' efforts there. It doesn't count for anything.
Yeah. No, it does though. It counts for TV time. Their presence on the race is felt.
I don't think Peter Sagan would be. I don't think Peter Sagan would be like, you know what, beauty. We've had a good tour. We tried.
Yeah, but I'm putting it down. I'm putting the 4 points that are missing down to Peter Sagan.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe I was a little bit tough with a 5-1. I think you're probably a little bit closer with a 6 with their effort. So yeah, next. This is how we get bogged down and talk for 4 hours on these teams.
AG Tour Le Mondial.
Interesting one, isn't it?
It's an interesting one.
A little bit interesting
to hear what you've got.
Well, I put down their expectation as a top 10 for the general. Second rest day, they've lost their GC rider. However, they've had the KOM jersey the whole tour. They've won a stage with Peters. Up until Bardet had to abandon, he was looking good. So given that, I've given them an 8.2. I think they've been good, given the stage win was big. KOM jersey, you like to talk about it, TV time. You know, you're relevant in the race. And up until Bardet abandoned, he was right there. So I think they've been very good.
I gave them. Well, yeah, I agree. I've written down an 8 here. I think that's huge. The huge contribution is from Nance Peters' stage win. I think Bardet was good, but was he going to maintain the top 10? He was looking good, but I don't know. I think that stage win ticks the box for the Tour de France.
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt.
And to win with a Frenchman too.
Only Frenchman? No, Julian. Julian's won a stage.
Yeah. So that's good. To kind of quick step. Stage win. Day in the yellow. Green jersey.
Two stages.
2-stage win, sorry. Yeah. Julian and Sam.
Yeah.
Sam getting his inaugural stage victory.
Yeah. Had the green jersey as well for a long period of time. I don't think Alaphilippe was ever really a genuine GC man, so we can't let that get in the way of our scores. I think the line for them at the end of the tour probably would have been 3. So given they got 2 stages, they got green, had a little bit of time in yellow too. I've given them an 8.3. I think they've been good. They've been very good. Maybe another another stage, 3 stages would have bumped them up into the 9s. But I think 8.3 is probably where they're at.
And I think the third stage is likely. It's very
Mm.
possible. Sam Bennett in good nick, and I gave him a 9 because Sam's in green and he's more than likely going to win the green jersey. I didn't
Yeah,
expect
look,
that.
low
That
eights was maybe a bit.
that was off the table for
Mm.
me. I know
Maybe it
that
was.
I agree that there's one more stage win in it, but the fact that they're in green, that's a big win, and that makes up for Alaphilippe butchering, or Alaphilippe and that Swanee butchering the yellow jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Groupama FDJ.
Yeah, look, I was on Pro Cycling Stats today. We love their work. Shout out. We know you love ripping people on Twitter for not crediting them, so here you go. I was looking at Thibaut Pinot, his history in Grand Tours, and he is below, like he is imploded several times on the last day. I knew it, but I've just gone back to refresh myself. What's happened shouldn't have ever been a surprise. I never should have tipped him to win this goddamn bike race. So their expectation was a podium, I think, as a minimum. Rest day 2, what have they got to show for it?
Last year, Campbell. I know he hasn't got a great long-term track record, but last year, like, you would have thought he was in for a podium, if not throwing it down for the victory. So you were right to put a punt on him.
Yeah, it wasn't a safe one. It wasn't a Roglic. It wasn't a Bernal. I thought I'd go out on a limb a little bit. But after all that, rest day 2, 3.1. Probably could have even gone harder. I probably could have put him into the 2s. I probably should have put him into the 2s. You know what? They're probably a 2.8.
I've given him 1.
Okay, I was too easy on him.
1.
I was too easy on him.
Didn't even make it into the second week contending for the general.
Yeah,
didn't take Arnaud Démare to the Tour de France. He was in the hottest form. They've taken him out of the Tour team. We're going all in for Pinot, which I liked. But for Pinot not even to make it to the second week, dismal.
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to change my scores as I go, but you're right. I added to add the fact that they didn't take Démare, who was flying before the Tour, French national champion. And it wasn't like they've taken, like, you know, the squad's good, but I'm sure someone could have made way for the French champion. So you're right. I'm gonna revise it. I'm gonna revise it actually to a 2.1.
I reckon they're going to make it a 3 by the end of the Tour with Stefan Kung just throwing himself in a few breakaways, and that's
the thing. He's been trying. He's been passionate. He's been trying every day when he can. So yeah, I think the best thing for them is to try and get the super combative, perhaps with King, or I mean Pinot. You just never know with this guy. Maybe he might come up for a stage in the back end, but don't know.
If you do disagree with Campbell, please let us know in the comment section. Bahrain McLaren.
Difficult one.
Tricky one.
It? Like, haven't really done much, but haven't really needed to. So I think their expectation was a top 5 for the general with Mikel, with Landa. They're currently in 7th. Caruso is in good shape as well. Caruso is always there with 10 or 15 guys left, so it's good to see that they've got someone that can help Landa quite late. Bilbao's been good as well, so I've given them a 7.6.
I've given them, as along similar lines, I've given them a 7. So I'm thinking Landa around the mark, good in support. One of the only teams that has support when Jumbo Visma is tearing the bunch to shreds, but losing 3 points based off missing the split in the crosswinds.
Yep, good point.
I just like that. I think you just, like we talked about it lots on this podcast. You just can't afford to lose a minute 30. Well, Pogacar might prove us wrong, but especially for Landa, who's not coming in the red hot favourite. You can't lose a minute 30 on the crosswind stage.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
not.
Good
It's
point.
just not good enough.
Yeah, I like that from you.
I'm interested to hear what you think about this one. EF Pro Cycling.
Expectations, top 10 on the general, probably.
Mhm. Tick.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, Rigo always comes good at the tour.
Yeah, he does. He always comes good when you don't expect him to.
And
third on GC currently after 2
I know.
weeks, and a stage win with Martinez.
And a stage win, yeah.
Powless has been active in all the key breaks too. I've put them in for an 8.9. Maybe should be low 9s. Maybe I should bump them up a little bit. 9.1, 9.2. You know what? I am going to do that. 9.2. The more I talked about that, the more impressive they've been.
Yeah, I'm going to go off. I'm going to keep Tom McFarlane happy and go off the rounded numbers and go to 9.5 for EF. The fact that Rigo's in third and they've picked up a stage win, I think to be honest, for EF, if they picked up a stage win, that was a tick. Rigo, he's just a nice to have, and the fact that he's in third is a huge win. And it's not a surprise, but it's not like, oh, we're going to the tour for Rigo to win. I don't know. That guy just he's just there, but it's good. It's good energy in the team. I like it. EF since like last year, they've been awfully impressive. I feel.
I remember there was a definitive turning point for them.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about. I can't remember whether it was the end of the last year or start of last year. They just turned a corner and suddenly started winning bike races, being relevant, being cohesive. All of those things they just did suddenly overnight.
A big one was when they picked up Flanders, picked up a Spring Classics early in the year, and they went from like in the basket of CCC and NTT, where we just spent every race tearing shreds off them, to a team that we are on big style. Okay, Samsic.
Difficult one.
Difficult one.
Expectation, top 5 to top 10 with Quintana. We didn't really know which sort of Quintana was showing up. I think I might have actually went for him on my podium. They got Barguil as well, who's looking like he's in good shape. Maybe stage win could be par for them as well. Maybe that's asking a little bit much, but given that Quintana at the second rest day is in 9th, I've given them a 6.6. I think they've been okay. They're not a big team. Yes, they got a big rider who's got a super Palmares, but neither here nor there. Can't shred them. Can't praise them. So I've just gone in with a 6.6.
I didn't know how to rate this one because, I know Quintana lost time, but he did crash as well. Do you take points off them for GC riders crashing? Is that part of it?
Maybe not.
I've got him down as a 5 with a question mark next to it. It would have been. It's obviously it's a long time since Quintana was hot at the start of the season, but he seemed in very good spirits with his new squad. Not racing for the Movistar Cup. I think it's a little bit disappointing. And but then at the same time, he had a good. It wasn't like Pinot's performance. He put his hat in the ring for a little bit. He's still there,
and he's still top 10. Maybe rest a little bit today. Maybe he was having a bad one on the Grand Colombier. So, yeah, I think middle, neither here nor there for these guys.
Movistar.
What are you laughing at? No,
Movistar coming up next.
Expectation, top 10 GC. maybe a stage here or there. At the second rest day, they got Mas in 8th, who looked really strong on stage 15 when Jumbo were just shredding it. But again, nothing super exciting for these guys. So I've given them actually a clean 7, rounded number, 7 flat. Purely because they've got a guy in the top 10 still after 2 really, really hard weeks of racing. Valverde's looking good. Like I said, Mas top 10. And there's still time for a stage win somewhere, but yeah, again, neither here nor there.
Where's the stage win going to come from?
It's probably Soler's been active.
But not the Soler in peak condition though.
No, definitely not. But I'm not saying like they have to get a stage win, like they're definitely going to get one. But if they are, it might be him or Valverde probably has to lose a little bit more time, or has to lose time on the GC, whether he's happy just floating around for a 13th on GC, or he wants to lose 40 minutes and go for a stage. He's going to have to make up his mind.
Yeah. I've given him a 6.
No one wants to hear about the 6s and the 7s, really.
Yeah, no one wants to hear about the 7s. Next. Trek Segafredo. Yeah. They're all right. Mastered around the mark. Trek Segafredo.
Expectations.
If you take out one stage, Adam Sims says Movistar are the worst. The worst in the tour.
Stiff.
Even though I think Mas in the top 10 around the mark, that takes him off the bottom of the ladder. He's saving their tour. If he blew up on the general, it's all over for them.
Yeah, they'll find themselves in the 2s and the 3s if that happens.
Yeah. Anyway, Trek Segafredo.
Expectation top 10. I think with Richie, now it's looking a lot more like a top 5, maybe even a podium. So second rest day, Richie's 6th on the GC. Pedersen, I think he was 2nd on the first stage. But yeah, that crosswind stage, it sucks, doesn't it? Losing time there. You talked about Landa losing time there. You talked about Caleb on the podcast last night had a little clip at Jasper Stuyven for leaving him in the crosswinds to go and run 8th in the bunch kick. But given Richie where he's at and his form, I'm going to give them a 7.8.
Yep. I've given them a 9.
Oof. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, I know. Hang on. Hang on there.
I think a lot of people have watched the Movistar doco and just don't like these guys.
They're all off them, aren't they? So anyway, back to Trek Segafredo. So
important.
Huge disappointment that they didn't make the front split in the crosswinds, which has been kind of the disappointment's kind of been increased by the fact that Richie's going so well on the general and he's in such good nick. Pedersen has been out of control good. So good. Kenny Elisson's been good around the mark. Mollema was going real good until he crashed. Richie Port jacks up their rating big star. He's been super. Like, I think those 3-4 riders in particular, huge promise. Richie's in a genuine opportunity to finish on the podium in Paris. I wasn't expecting that pre-tour. That's above expectations for mine.
Yeah.
Adam makes a good point. When was the last time we expected anything from Trek? Fabio days?
Who?
Since, Fabian. Since
Cancellara.
Cancellara was...
Trek and Bahrain have had the same tour so far. Yeah, I almost concur. I've gone 7.6 and 7.8. So we'll see. But yeah, you're right. I don't think we probably didn't genuinely expect Port to be going this well. So therefore, they're probably coming in above expectations. Maybe I could have bumped them up to an 8, but I think, we'll meet in the middle there somewhere at an 8.5. I think that works out to be our average. Next.
CCC.
You go first. You start us off. You let us in.
Hang on, number 12. 3.
Why?
GVA, Trenton didn't really cater for Zakarin. I don't know if he adds value based off his descending performance, but at least he was out and about. I think that stage that you pointed out on the podcast or the discussion we were doing that day, that Alaphilippe won and GVA won the bunch kick, and he had no teammates in the group. Like, how are they going to win a stage? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's going back a long time, but that's a good point. I mean, they should have had Geschke, Hurt, and Zakarin, and Demarki's clearly not in good shape, but they should have had someone there to help on that stage. And there's nothing worse than when you win the bunch kick, someone's up the road. Happened to Mitchelton a couple of days ago when Crow Anderson won. There's nothing worse, especially when you expect to have teammates there. So I've given them a little bit more. I went at 3.6. Tom McFarlane. A round score of 0 is fine. Yeah, look, I concur.
At least, no. So Tom, they get off the ground because they've been in the position to win. They only get 3 points though because they haven't even come close to converting on any of them.
What was their expectation realistically? One stage would have been like
one stage.
big tick. So I think a 3.8. I know I tore shreds off you earlier for praising effort. I think it's a little bit different. Bora, like Sagan, got the cattle, that you really do expect something from them. At CCC, they've had a couple of days where they've been a part of the race. They've got on the front. They've shown some enterprise. I'm just trying to justify my 3.6 here. It's still a dog shit rating. let's not get anything like muddled up here. They've been ordinary.
But also, don't forget they've got GVA and Trenton.
I know they've got guys that are
they're not
winners.
full of nufty riders.
They just have never been able to get it right. And I mean, they provide a good talking point for us. We always like to go after them.
No points in trying.
That's what I said earlier, but I'm just trying to justify my 3.6 compared to what did you give him? A 3, flat 3.
Flat 3.
Question coming through. Where do you think Port will move to next? Well, Andy Schleck dropped that information like it was hot a couple of days ago. Ineos. He's going to Ineos from all reports. So good fit.
There goes my rumour mill of him going to Israel. He's crushed my dreams.
Anyway, they've been. I mean, really, you could almost give him a 10 for meeting expectation. CCC.
Yeah, you're not wrong though. Like Trenton and GVA racing, GVA there, but with no support. That is the last 2 years of Team CCC. Yeah. That's what you expect.
And just before we close that up, big fan of GVA, really am.
Well, I think
and
that's why
Andy Sims makes a good point. Yeah, going to AG2R next year. Him and Nason linking up. They got BMC coming on board. They got a big sponsor in Citroen. So it's a nice little space to be looking at the next couple of years. But GVA, he's like 35. He's getting on. You'd still think he's about 30. He's been flying for ages.
Next, Cofidis.
Tricky one. A little bit tricky.
Is it? What was your expectation?
Well, I've written down my expectation for them was a stage win.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't won a stage win since 2008 with Sylvain Chavanel, they've got Viviani, who he's a winner. He's a cold-blooded winner. Maybe an opportunist somewhere along the line. Rest day 2, what have they got to show for it? They've got 11th on GC. Guillaume Martin, he's been good. Come unstuck a little bit when the tours really got winding the last couple of days. So I bought them in at a 7.4. Just because Martin was really good for 12 days. Yes, come a bit unstuck, but he's still 11th on GC, and there's still a possibility for someone inside that top 10 to crack. Probably looking at Tom Dumoulin. He's gonna have to do some work along the line, so a top 10 might be possible if Martin can stay focused. So that would be massive, top 10 general for them. So I've gone a 7.4.
What if they didn't have Martin? What would you give them? So if you rip out that general classification piece.
4.9, 5.
So I had them at a 4 purely because I was doing my data based off him not being good on the general. But I think him being good on the general really pumps it up. Viviani's bagged a 4th. Cassoni's bagged a 3rd. But you haven't really, I don't know. Yes, they're okay. They're good placings, but it's not like they've really been, you're like, all right, Viviani's in this race. Viviani could win here. I haven't had that feeling at all.
No.
So yeah, Martin being good on the general, I think gives 7 for Cofidis.
Yeah.
Around the mark. He's a little bit unlucky the other day with the mechanical at the bottom of the final ascent, but I think you'd hope, just even, I know we're not talking about effort here, but you hope that Viviani just get his hat in the ring without that Morkov lead out. Something very, very interesting that Caleb Ewan pointed out last night in the podcast about that Morkov lead out.
I enjoyed that.
Which, when you do the analysis, is pretty accurate. Viviani hasn't even been in the mix, says Adam Sims. Yep, that is correct. There was a stage that Caleb won where he actually put himself in the mix, but he was 4th. Like, he was behind the 3 quickest guys by far. I think Viviani is the fastest over the last 50 meters. That's a big call.
Next.
UAE Team Emirates.
Oofed.
Oh, yeah. I've given them an 11.
Yeah.
Them and Jumbo on the same levels. Above expectation.
Well, what was the expectation for you, for these guys?
Expectation was that Pogačar would finish in the top 5. Podium was a tick. Instead, they've got Pogačar hunting for the yellow jersey, and Christoph bagged the opening stage.
Yeah, so they've had 3 stage wins. Pogačar 2, Christoph 1, day in the yellow jersey, 2nd on GC. Probably looking like the strongest climber in the race. A little bit worried about the strength of the team, but this guy doesn't really seem to need too much support at this stage, given they don't have the yellow jersey. But yeah, I think given off their expectation, what they've delivered, I've given them a 10.
Do they actually, now I think about it, do they lose any points for not making the first group in the crosswinds? Or has that been all?
I'm not. I think it's just been outweighed by the quality of results.
Yeah. And the way, also the way that Pogacar took time on the stage that Peters won.
Yeah, two big outs. Fabio Aru and Formulo having to go home.
Well,
Formulo through really no fault of his own, but Aru, that could be the last time he gets taken to a Tour de France with this squad.
Yeah. I think one big out, Formula would be awfully handy right now.
Mm.
Astana.
Expectation stage win, top 5. What have they done? They've got a stage. They got 4th on GC on the second rest day. I've given them an 8.2. They probably would have been high 8s if they weren't dickheads on stage 1 trying to push the pace and make an absolute fool of themselves. So I haven't forgot about that. But even with that in there, they've been superb. So they come in at an 8.2.
Yeah, I've given them a flat 8. I think Lopez has been solid without being amazing. And the stage win, that's a big tick. Lysenko.
As soon as you get a stage win in the Tour, bang, pressure's off, isn't it?
Yeah.
That like just makes your Tour. Everyone's a little bit more relaxed. It's worthwhile. So, yeah. Next.
Lotto Soudal.
Or do you want to answer the question that's just come in from Warwick?
Warwick says Pogacar a chance to take time in the TT. Yes, he is. But as is his kind of main competitor, Roglic's handy against the clock as well.
It's not your traditional time trial, is it?
No.
There's a genuine climb at the end. La Planche de Belfis finished there. We've probably finished there 3 times in the last 10 years. Proper steep climb. I think we're going to see bike changes at the bottom of the climb. So it's not really like a traditional time trial, but given that, I think I still think Roglic is going to have the better of him. But I think it'll
just going wild on that last climb.
Yeah, that steep last climb, it really poses something different. So I think we're going to see a good battle between those guys on the last day. And yeah, he did win the Slovenian ITT, but I'm not reading too much into the Slovenian ITT. I'd rather look at Grand Tour time trials, which Roglic has won before. So I know people keep referencing the Slovenian ITT, but I'm still going to go with Roglic's history in big time trials.
You can picture Roglic just dieseling his way up that climb too. Maybe a bit different to being in the bunch. His own speed, in the seat the whole way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's our first real showdown of those two going head to head, I think.
Yeah. And also to note that that TT was back at the end of June, so yeah, things might have changed since then. But either way, it's going to be a good last TT for mine.
Yeah. Lotto Soudal.
Expectations: 2 to 3 stages. So what have they done? They've won 2 stages. They've lost 2 big riders in Gilbert and Degenkolb, still delivered. So given that, I've given them a 9.1.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have done anything else. Maybe Caleb's cocked up a sprint or 2, but 2 stages in the first 2 weeks, that's, yeah, they couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah. I've gone a 9. I think 3 stages would have made a 10. But I think, a lot of Soudal, even if they finish now, would tick the box. Tour de France, 2 stages. Delivered with minimal riders too.
Yeah.
I think that's a tick. Next one I'm interested in. Your thoughts? Mitchell and Scott.
Mm. Expectations.
Well,
1 to 2 stage, I think, would have been the line for them come Paris. What have they done? They haven't won one. They've had 4 days in the yellow jersey. Where's Yates sitting on the GC? Where is he at?
Yates on the general is
He's in fifth, which is
2 minutes down.
Yeah, mighty good. So I've given them a 7.7.
Mhm.
Is that a bit stiff? Is that a bit low?
No. Well, it depends. What are you benchmarking them against?
Well,
If it's against stage wins, well, they haven't really come close to that, have they?
no. I guess on stage 2 or stage 3, when in Nice they got close with Yates, who took the bull by the horns, but it's a difficult one to judge. What do you think? What have you given them?
I've given them a 7, but it's all off Yates. Yates has crushed this. Like you said, that stage into that Alaphilippe picked up, putting himself in the move, even attacking Roglic the other day and Team Jumbo Visma, holding yellow in like some not easy stages. I'm on Yates.
Mezgec second the other day when Crow Anderson won. If they had won that, then you'd probably be looking at high 8s, low 9s.
Yeah. If they had won that, they would have met expectations. Do you add or subtract value for Mezgec coming second? I don't know the answer.
Neutral. To be honest, I wasn't even considering it when I was coming up with my scores. Now I have. I don't think it really changes too much. The only reason why I would have changed is if they won, then it would have been a big boost up. But yeah, what is better if they were to finish this tour in top 5 or win a stage? What would you prefer? What's more valuable?
5 days in yellow.
Don't worry about the 5 days in yellow. Top 5 GC or a stage win?
We're talking from a team's perspective. If you're the owner of the team or the DS or the rider, what are you going for?
Whatever you want, whatever hat you want to wear, Alex, put it on.
I think, and something about going for that podium.
We're not talking podium. I'm guessing
only top 5.
I'm guessing 4th to 5th.
Okay, stage win.
Yeah. However, third, I'd take third over a stage win any day.
Well, I was almost thinking like top 5, but challenging for the third possibility that you could come third. You take that.
Yeah. There's a few teams next that are just sort of, we'll breeze through them. Israel, neither here nor there. Didn't even know they were in the race. Total Direct Energy, similar.
Hofstede has been all right.
He's been all right.
He's been okay.
I gave him a 5.
Dan Martin. I don't know why they took Dan Martin if he was so injured.
He looked all right the other night.
Yeah.
Dan Martin. But, yeah.
What are they doing with Greipel?
I don't know.
Would you sign him again?
No.
If you had to sign him again, how much would you pay him? How much do you reckon he's on?
You'd think it'd have to be north of 250 still, euro.
Because he would have been at Lotto. He would have been north of $1 million.
Oh yeah, in his premium days for sure, minimum. He was winning several stages of the tour. He would have been north of 1.5, you'd think. But now, I don't know, not that much.
So we giving him a score?
I went 5-1. I just went.
Yeah, I gave him a 4. Just
yeah.
All right. No real expectation, to be fair. So it probably could have been an 8.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
delivered what I expected. Team total direct energy.
I gave them a 6. They've been in a few good breakaways.
Yeah.
That's probably what we expected from them. Neither here nor there.
Mm. Yep. I think that's right. I wrote down 5, 6, but
Mm-hmm.
20. Team number 20, NTT Pro Cycling.
You go.
I gave them a 5
Mm-hmm.
based off Bolsenhagen having a gallop, pretty much, and that they're and Nizzolo being around the mark in the first week.
Yeah. Well, they've lost Nizzolo and Pozzovivo. I
But
know. It's not the Giro 2012, 13. So Pozzovivo's not going to be doing anything. I gave him a 5-2. I gave him a 5-2. I mean, realistically, what were we expecting from him? I think we do
that's
have
it.
to take. I think we have to
if you
take
rank,
into account that Giacomo went home.
yeah,
He stepped off.
he was in hot form.
Yeah, Bossenhagen was second on a stage. They were active in the breakaway. I think at best they were going to win a stage at this tour, so maybe a 5-2 is yeah. I mean, we were both low 5s, so neither here nor there.
Mm.
Andy Sims,
Ki-
NTT -20. Oofed.
Yeah, he does make a good point though. They've lost their sponsor apparently.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
I heard Kino say it on the commentary, which is pretty confirmed for me.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem like the sort of guy to be going around spreading pub talk.
Yeah, it's a big that's a big loss for cycling, especially if that team is finally starting to get it together. Yeah, like Goggle made the break. Adam, this is a key point. This is a key point. They are missing 2018 Valgren.
I think the Michael Valgren that they have isn't the one that they thought they were signing up for.
No.
At all. So
yeah,
I think they can be pretty disappointed with that. I'm not sure. I haven't got his Palmares up from the last couple of years, but I don't imagine there's too much going on wearing an NTT jersey.
If you filter 2019 by results, he came 4th in Bretagne Classic in 2019. That's it.
6th at Worlds, 5th at Montreal.
Compared to 2018, which Adam's referencing here, Amstel victories, 2nd Bretagne Classic, 4th in the Ronde, 4th in a stage of the Tour, 7th in Worlds, couple of the 3 top 10s in Tour de France stages. Like,
yeah,
a lot going on and a lot of promise. Moving on, Team Sunweb.
Oofed. We probably thought if they could salvage a stage win with the team sheet that they put out, would have been was their expectation. They've been super active, super close several times, won twice, been the most exciting team really to watch. So I'll give them a 9.4.
Yeah,
they've been super. Probably could have gone higher. You probably have.
Yeah, I've gone higher. I've given them a 10. I think that looking at that team sheet coming in, doing our tour preview, I was like, oh, geez, what's going on here? Where are they going to win? And I know you don't like. Well, you sometimes don't like giving points for activity. They've been awfully active. They've nailed a few lead outs. Hershey has just been a revelation of the tour. And Warwick's hit the nail on the head here. There was zero expectation almost, and they have delivered big star.
And I feel like there's some more to come as well.
Yeah. Really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, they've been super.
Last one, B&B Hotels Vital Concepts, presented by KTM. Didn't even know that was on the end.
I put them down as a 5 purely because they were the last team, and I was running out of sort of my recce.
No, I put them up a little bit higher than that. I gave them a 7. Brian Cockard's been around the mark in sprints. Pierre Roland showed his face
Forgot
a few
about
times
Roll-On.
in the break.
Yeah, forgot about Roll-On.
Warwick just asks who. I think of the wildcard entries. They've been very good.
Yep. All right, I'll bump him up to a 6. Rookie score.
And that's the team sheet. I think in summary, though, Ineos disappointing. Jumbo out of control. UAE Emirates out of control. And Team Sunweb, the big surprise.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's always fun looking at the below 4s and the above 8s, but I think you covered that just there. Should we do a quick one for tonight's stage?
Yeah, we may as well.
Start us off, mate.
We've got we've got an uncategorized climb out of the holes. Rest day.
Can you bring it up on the screen?
Yeah. Just credit Pro Cycling Stats here for their service. Uncategorized climb out of the holes into a Cat 4, into just a lumpy little section into the base of a Cat 2. That sprint's going to be awfully hot.
Yep. As it has been for a week now. They've been just going wild for that intermediate, so it'd be interesting to see how the race pans out up until then.
Oh, you just feel for the guys that don't come out of the rest day with good legs, and you've got Bora and Quickstep tearing shreds off this section here. You're like, come on, just give me a peaceful breakaway on the Cat 4 and let me ride to the finish.
Everyone will just be hoping just something easy goes on the Cat 4 or nothing's going on till then, because after a rest day you can just come out with just wooden legs. Just like,
but the only scenario where it won't be hot is if Sagan and Bennett put themselves both in the move.
I think something else to consider here, Alex, is Ineos no longer really a GC threat, so we're going to have them looking for the move as well. I think they're going to want to come out and right their wrongs pretty quick. And my tip for the day is Mikhail Kwiatkowski. I'm going with him. He's looking in good shape.
From the breakaway?
From the breakaway. I think there's going to be a breakaway go to the finish today. It's got that sort of feel about it. I agree with Andy. Thomas de Gendt hasn't been on a rampage this year. I just feel that last climb, I know he can climb well at times, but just that last one just might be a little bit too tricky if he's there with some good climbers. But yeah, my tip's Kwiatkowski from the break.
Yeah. I think it will be a breakaway as well. I think he's Dave McFarlane, Bora on the rollers now. What's his source? Where do you get that from?
Maybe they're just doing a little bit of a time trial pre-brekkie pre-start.
That's good intel.
Or he's just taking the piss. I don't know. I mean, they could be a genuine pre-breakfast on the rollers.
That German program. I'm going to go with Adam Thomas De Gent from the breakaway.
Roger.
But yeah, I think it's a day for the breakaway. That Cat one tops out still with 21k to go. Look at this though. There's still a ramp at the finish. You still go from 1,000 to 1,200 meters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot in it. How far is it?
164.
Nice. Short-ish.
I like that.
Yep. Cool. Well, good.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your questions, comments, intel. It's greatly appreciated.
Tomorrow, 5:00.
Tomorrow, 5:00. If you haven't already, check out the podcast we did with Caleb last night. It was about half an hour, but a pretty good insight to where he's at. And it was a good chat. It was good. I enjoyed getting his opinion on the Sagan dilemma, sprinting in general.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m.